All right, welcome back to Genius. So in this section, let's talk about CSS attribute selectors. Remember, a selector is what we use to select the element or whatever we want to select. So we are going to see how we can use, we can select elements based on their attributes. Remember what an attribute is. So every element has attributes. So we are going to be selecting them based on the value of their attributes. Okay, so that's what we'll be taking a look at here in this section. So the CSS attribute selector allow you to style HTML elements based on the presence, value, or partial value of the attributes. So we are going to be selecting elements based on their presence, the presence of an attribute, the value of an attribute, or the partial value of an attribute. So this is what CSS attribute selectors help us do. So we select based on, okay, is this attribute present? Okay. Does this attribute have this value? Okay, does this attribute have this partial value? So that is how we are going to be selecting. So they are very flexible and can target elements dynamically without needing extra classes or IDs. So you might not need to use the class selector or the ID selector. So these attributes selectors are very, very flexible, okay? So what is the syntax like? As simple as this, okay? The selector, then attribute, then you now put in your CSS rules, okay? So now where selector is the HTML tag, okay, you can use the star or the asterisk for all elements. So if I want to say I want to select all elements that has a particular attribute, that means I'm going to say I'm going to use the star attribute then, and I'll put in the selector, the attribute, okay? So attribute is the name of the attribute you want to target. So let's see an example here. Okay. Let's just talk about the types of attribute before we go to see some examples. So the types of attribute selectors that we have, all right, we have the angular bracket. Okay. Sorry, this is not angular bracket. I'm sorry. You see, even me that is teaching you, sometimes I even forget these things that I use every day. The square bracket, sorry, okay? So why did I mention this thing? As a programmer, as a developer, you don't need to remember everything. What we are learning is too much. So don't bother yourself learning, remembering everything. If you forget anyone, just go and Google it. All right, just go and Google it. All right, so programming is like an open test. Even when you go for interviews, okay, they give you any program to write. They also expect you to, it's an open test. If you forget something, you can just go to Google and ask for it and come back, okay? That is it. That's by the way. So these select elements with the specified attribute regardless of its value. So here with this one, we are not talking about their value. We're just talking about all the elements that have this attribute. We don't care about the value. Okay, so example is this. We are targeting all the elements that have a title attribute. So let's go to code and see. Now, the first type of attribute selector we are going to look at is this type of attribute. I don't even know what to call it. I don't even know the name, but let's do it this way. Now, let's say, okay, you can see this hashtag, this H1 has a class attribute. Nobody else has a class attribute. So let me give this paragraph a class attribute. Blah, blah, blah. We don't care about the value. But remember, this is not, even as we are using class as the attribute, we are not doing class selector here. Okay. So if we want to target the elements that have a class attribute, we can do something like this. Okay. We can do something like this. And then we can now style. We can say color. We can say color to be red. So when we do this, okay, we are targeting all the elements that have a class attribute. We are not talking about the class selector. Don't get it confused. Okay, so we have a class attribute here. We have a class attribute. We do not care about their value. We only targeting all the elements that have a class attribute. So when we run this, the the hello hi, the hello h1 and the paragraph will have the color. Okay, so let me also do another one. Okay, let me do another one. Let me give this one a title attribute. Okay, I don't need to give it any value. I can also give this one a title attribute. Okay, so this time around, I want to target all the elements that have a title attribute, and I want to give it a color of green. So you can see what we are targeting is all the elements that have a particular attribute. So we have targeted the class attribute, we have targeted the title attribute. And when I save this thing and go back to the browser, you're going to see that you can see the hello, these are they are two different elements, but they are all inline. So let me just put a break. The paragraph and the H1. Okay, let me put a break so that we can. All right. So if I go back, so here we are. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, look at it. Look at the hello paragraph and H. Okay, so you can see we have targeted attributes based on this type of attribute. So we are saying any attribute. So if you want to target all the elements in your page, if you want to target them based on a particular attribute, you don't care about their value. All right, you just want to target, all the elements. Let's say you have a tooltip in all you give some elements, some title, okay? You might want to style them differently. You can just target them with this type of attribute selector. Now, this would match all the elements that have a title attribute, okay? All right. It will match this div. It will also match this span because this span has title, this div have title. All right. So now you can make it more specific by saying, okay, I want the title or I want the class attribute to have this particular value. So here we are saying that, okay, we want the attribute to have a particular value. All right. So this one selects element with an attribute that matches the exact value. All right. So here we are saying, okay, we want the submit button. Okay. We are saying we want the button that have a type that is equal to submit. Okay, so the previous one, we were just talking about the attribute. We are just getting all the elements that have that particular attribute. But here we are being more specific. We want to target elements that have this attribute, but the attribute must match this value that we have here. So let's go and see. I'm going to have this example. I'm going to maybe take all these guys out. Okay. Okay, I can have different types of input here. Okay, and I can say the type of this input is text. All right. Okay, I can just do button. I can say this is image. Okay, I can say this input is reset. I didn't even give it any value. I can say this type is reset. Okay, but I have to give it value. All right. And I'll say reset. Okay, and this image, although I did not provide any email, I don't know if it will work, but I don't need to. So I'll just say value. I'll just say image. Okay, then I'm not going to have another one. The input is going to be submit. The type is going to be submit. So here I'm targeting, I have a lot of input elements that have the type attribute. But I want to target all of them that have, I want to target one that has the type to be submit. So I could come here and say, I will have to change this guy to um, the attribute is type and the value is submit. All right. So this could just be the background color. I could just make background color. Okay. So here I have a lot of elements that have this type attributes. Okay. So, okay, I can just, okay, let me show you the difference here. I can just say type. Okay. I want elements that have a type and I want their color to just be red. So you can see now this first one is just going to target all the elements that have this type attribute. In the first one here, we're just targeting all elements with an attribute type. We don't care about their value. So it will select all of them. But the second one, we are not targeting a more specific one that has the value to be submit. So if I save and go to the browser, you can see, sorry, our image didn't show, but no problem. But you can see that the color here is red. Okay. And you can even see that it also targeted the second one, the other one. It targeted all of them, their colors red. And this type that is submit has the background of green. So that is what we are talking about here. So we are targeting elements based on their type, their attribute, sorry, based on their attribute and also based on the value of their attribute. Okay. So here, this one will match the input that has the type attribute that is equal to submit. Okay. Right. Please, if you do not, or if you get confused, please just click on the chat button on your screen here, on the right bottom corner of this screen, of your screen. Just click it and you will get to chat us up, okay, so that we can explain more to you, okay? Now, look at this. Now, we are saying attribute, the attribute, then we are using um, this third character equal to. So what is this thing called? This one selects elements where the attribute contains a space separated list of values and one of them matches exactly. Now let's say um, you have um, you have an element that has two classes, okay, and you want to target that element. So here, this is an example, okay. We are targeting an element that has the class attribute with this tailed sign equal to highlight. So what we are doing here is that, okay, see, look at what is going to match. You can see that this div has this class. It has two classes. You know, you can actually have two classes, highlight and important. Okay, but this one has its own class, but it would only match this one because we are targeting, this guy targets elements where the attribute contains a space separated list of values. So if you want to target any element that has a particular attribute value to be a space separated list of values, then you can use this. Yeah, this might be tricky to understand, but just get it. Look at this. Okay, let me go to code and show you. Let's assume um I have a div. Okay, hello. That's the what I have there. And I have a class. And the first one um I have light. And I also have another class, dim. Okay. Then I have another div that also has the class. It also has the class light. It also has the class light. Okay. Now, we want to target the element that has a class attribute with comma separated values. So that means we can only target the first one. This one will not enter. And it says when you're doing that, it says it selects elements where the attribute contains a space-separated list of values, and those list of values, one of them matches exactly. So that means one of them must match. So we go here and we can say we have our attribute as class, and this class where's this is equal to, then it must match one. So we have one of them is light. All right. So it has to match one of them. Either it matches light or it matches dim. Just watch this, get this thing carefully. Take some time to assimilate it, okay? Here, what we with this type of thing, whenever you want to target any attribute that has two values or more than two values that are comma separated, and you just want to target them. So all you have to do is to use this selector and make sure that the value you put in here matches exactly one of them. So if I go on now to save and go to the browser, you can see the first. Oh, sorry. Uh, okay, sorry. This guy also has light, so it wouldn't work. Okay, so let me use dim. So both of them were highlighted anyway. Do you understand? So, but let me use dim. So I use light and it got both of them, which is correct. I use light and it got both of them, which is correct. But now I'm using dim. The second one does not have dim. So if I go to the browser, you can see it's only the first one that was highlighted. So the thing is this, okay? You just have to be careful with this. It's not hard, all right? In case anytime you want to use it and you forget it, you can Google it. All right. So here we are targeting attributes that have comma separated values. Sorry, not comma separated, space separated values, not comma separated values, space separated values. And we are just targeting one of them or any of them that has the exact value we have here. So basically, this would work best when you have classes, okay, when you have elements that have classes with multiple values. Okay, so just have it in mind. If you do not get it right, no problem. You can take this thing back and rewatch it again. All right, take some time to assimilate it. Okay. Then we can also have the attribute, then pipe. So what does this one do? Let me even tell you something. See, me that even teaching you now, this thing that I'm teaching you, you might even ask me the next 1 month. I might just forget, I might have forgotten this and I taught you now. It's not that I forgot, it's not that I don't know it, but it's just that I might have forgotten the syntax. So what I would do is I would just go back and Google it because I cannot have all these things in my head. My head is too small now. You understand? So don't beat yourself in case you think you forget something. Understand the concept. I know that there is something called attribute selectors, and I know that there are different types of attribute selectors. The tailed the pipe, the this one, the that one. So what I could do is I could just Google it in case I forget it. All right. So that is how it works. So this one selects element with an attribute whose value is either exactly the exactly value or starts with. So it's either here when you want to target attributes that have value that is exactly the same value or starts with. All right, or starts with. It is useful for language code. Now look at this one. We are saying we are looking for an attribute that starts with. So if you want to target attributes that starts with or have the same exact value, you will use this one. If you want to target attributes that have space separated values, okay. If you want to target attributes that have space separated values, um, you can use the other one we just talked about before this one, okay? So now this will target anyone that starts with, you can see it will get both of them because this one, the lang attribute starts with en. This one, the lang attribute starts with en. So you can target both of them. So let's see an example here. All right, I could say, all right, now I have both light, dim, and light. So I could, instead of using this tailed, I could use pipe. Okay, and I say I want it, I'm target anyone that starts with, all right, or let's say this one starts with li, both of them starts with li, so it's going to catch both of them. So when I go to my browser, oops, sorry, um light, sorry, Okay, so not Li light. Okay. Starts with what is okay, because this is comma separated, it wouldn't catch it. So look at it. Now, both of them starts with, okay, both of them starts with. Now it has caught both of them. Look at the mistake I was making, okay? Now, it wouldn't work if it is comma separated, it will not work, all right? They have to be maybe a normal word, but they start with. Do you understand it? So now, first of all, I use li. It didn't catch it because it didn't start with, okay? So it has to be the full word. So had it been I have something like, okay, let's say I have you can just play around with this thing, guys. Play around with this thing. Let's say I have li hyphen and I now say li here. Remember the first time I did it, I just did li only and it didn't get it. So now I'm doing li now, but the thing is that I'm doing hyphen because it's separated, okay? And they are one, all of them are one word, but they start with li. So let me try and see if this goes. Just play around with this. It catches it. Okay, play around with these things. Play around with these things. So is any value that starts with, but it has to be a full word. Okay, it has to be a full word. So one thing with CSS is that, in short, basically, whenever I'm styling my web application, it is annoying. All right, because it takes a lot of time. Basically, you do this, you check out, oh, this is not what I want. You go and do it again, you go and do it again. That's how CSS works. All right. But the thing is that we have to do it. So now you can see I tried to use li the first time and I have space separated light dim and I have light. It didn't work. So, but I now have to change, and now I got it. So that is how it works. Okay. So, but anyway, the more you understand, the better, the faster you can program. So do not get frustrated. The best way to learn is practice it. You see this thing I've just done now. Just do your own. Change it, work around, do your own examples. Just play with it, play around with it. That is the best way to learn, okay? All right, so we also have this one. We have seen start with, we have seen space separated, we have seen exact value. This one selects attribute elements where the attribute value starts with the specified string. Now, you see what I wanted to do before was this one now. Okay, this one starts with, it match anyone that starts with, but the previous one, look at the difference between the previous one. It says an attribute whose value is either, okay, either exactly the value or starts with the value, then hyphen. Okay, you see, I missed it. You see, there is a hyphen here, then value hyphen. So you can see the difference now. Please watch out the difference. All right. It's either it matches the exact value or it starts with the value then hyphen. That is why when I did the first li, it didn't get it, but when I now put hyphen, it got it. So, but with that same thing, this is what I could have done. I wanted to get it that start anything that starts with. So now here the starts with worked. Okay, you can say HTTPS. We are looking at any href that starts with HTTPS. This one does not start with HTTPS, so it will not match it. So let me go back to that my example. Then here, I do not want to do the hyphen thing again. All right. I don't want to do the hyphen thing again, but I want to match the one that starts with. So I will not use the pipe anymore. I'm going to use, where is it again? Um, where is it in my keyboard? Really? Okay. All right. So this one now will match any element that has a class attribute that starts with li. So let us see what is going to catch for us. It caught both of them because both of them starts with. Watch it. Both of them starts with. Okay, both of them starts with. But if I use the pipe, you can see none of them has the exact value of li or starts with li hyphen. So it will not match. So please pay attention to the difference. You see, none of them matches. But if I now come and put hyphen here, I could catch it. All right, I put hyphen now. So it's either exact value or starts with li hyphen. So if I go now and save, I could get it. You can see it matches this light, okay? So please just play around with these things. Play around with them, okay? Play around with them. This dollar symbol, select element where the attribute value ends with. No, this time around, I'm not going to do this one for you. I want you to play around with this one. This one, the attribute value ends with. So this is an example. Okay, let's say you want to target all the image that ends with JPG. All right, you can want to style them differently. So that is what this one ends with .jpg. So you can do this. All right, do this yourself. I want you to do this yourself. Play around with it yourself. All right, this one, we are targeting attributes that have source, but it ends with .jpg. Okay, this one is the next elements where the attribute value contains the specified substring. Substring, it means that the value could be part of it. So look at it. We have data role admin. Okay, and what are we targeting? It's going to catch any attribute. All right, it's going to catch any attribute that is data role that has admin as part of it. So if we have admin panel, we have admin user, we have admin whatever, since admin is part of it, it's going to catch it. I want you to play with this. I'm not going to do it for you. I want you to play with it. But if you can't get it, reach out to me, okay? So this is part of. So whatever value we have here, if we're using the star symbol here, whatever value we have here is going to be part of the value. Admin panel, admin user, admin whatever, admin this, admin that, it will catch it, okay? So we can also combine attribute selectors. Combining attribute selectors, okay? Here we are saying we want input elements, all right? We are targeting input elements that have the attribute type test and also that is disabled. So here we are targeting two attributes. You can say we are targeting two attributes, all right? So let's go and see. Let's target two attributes. That's combining attributes. So let's say, let's say I have another attribute here. Let's say I have value as attribute. There's nothing like value here. Okay, let's say I have ID equal to div. Okay, so what do I want to target? I want to target all the elements that have class attributes and ID attributes. Do you understand? All right. This, my color red now, is only targeting the element that have class attributes and ID attribute. So if I save and go to my browser, it catches the light. Okay. So you can combine it. So what can I do here? So you can see I am combining this. I can also say I don't want div. I can also say let's say I have H1. Hello H1. Okay. And this H1 has an attribute ID as H1 and also has what other attribute can I give this H1? Has style attribute, whatever it could be. Okay, I could just say display none. Display block. Okay, so now I could just target. Look at what I'm going to do here. I'm targeting H1 element that has an attribute ID. Okay, I might not care about the value depending on how you want to go about it, and also has style attribute. Do you understand? Remember, you can target just the attributes without any value. You can target the values with different values, okay? But here I'm just targeting this H1, and I could just say their color should be blue. Okay, so here I'm targeting H1 that has an ID attribute and that has a style attribute. So I can combine two attributes or even more than that. You can see the H1 got the blue color, okay? So that is how you can combine. So you can take it back and take a very good look at it. Pause the video, understand the code, look at how I did it, play it back, take it back, play it, pause it, take it back, play. Just anything that can help you understand, just do it, okay? So this is how we combine attribute selectors, all right? So practical use cases, okay? Let's say you have your form and you want to style all the input element that has the attribute required. So you can just style them differently. You can style them differently, okay? So you know how to do this. You target all the input elements, just like we targeted the H1 element that has different attributes. You can also target input elements and other elements. You can also target external links. You use the starts with. Any link that has a shape that starts with, you can give it a different style. All right. You can have custom attributes, data attributes like this, and style them differently. So what is the browser support? CSS attribute selectors, they are widely supported in modern browsers, including IE 9 and later. For advanced selectors like these ones, ensure your audience uses modern browsers. So just ensure that your audience are using modern browsers, okay? And thank you very much. And in JavaScript, we are going to teach you how you can make sure that your audience are using modern browsers, okay? So thank you very much. If you get confused or you do not understand something, please hit the chat button there so that you can actually reach out to us. And I'll see you in the next section. Thank you.